Hello, everybody. What's up? What's up? Say hi in the chat when you arrive. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. I missed you guys. As Jason says, drop those likes. Let me get my windows configured here. Man, I'm just gonna tell you up front. I'm rusty. I'm very rusty. I've been doing other things. We're gonna talk about it. Don't worry. What's up, Marcus? What's up, Manuel? What's up, Basel? Lebens? Oh, wow. I'm not even going to attempt that name. John, Sylvia, Jason is in the house. The Doc Pixel, Cedric's Case, N.A. Smith says, oh, boy. Let's see if there's any interesting comments. WD, God, I got to be able to talk today. WDD Live is back. My new ceramic pan set is coming today. It's like Christmas. What ceramic pan set did you get? Is it what is the brand name that I have? They're really good. They're really good. I don't know if you got the same thing. What's up, John? What's up, Manu? Man, we got a lot of people. Dude, DeHunzi, good to see you. Are people making baseless and useless comments? I mean, really, on the internet. Oh yeah, like this guy right here, Philip. Philip, the know nothing, do nothing crowd is alive and well. The know nothing, do nothing crowd is alive and well. What's up, digital algorithms? And okay, so let's just jump right into it. 164. That's nice. That's good. Oh, where did my window go? Oh, okay. I think I hit it. There we go. Maybe. Okay. I don't know. If you guys can see me and hear me, we're all good. By the way, I'm using this mic because the lawn guy decided that he was just going to start mowing right at 11 a.m. I'm about to hit live and he's like, I'm like, oh, seriously. Right on time. It was like literally right on schedule. I'm too animated for having this thing in my face. Okay, let's get into it. We're going to talk about where I've been. We're going to talk about WordPress. Got some really important WordPress things to talk about. And then we're going to take a little sneak peek look at Studio. We're going to talk about Etch Studio. That's Etch Studio for anybody who is not on the same page these days. We're going to talk about static versus Studio. Okay. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be like the old days, I think. There's gonna be probably some rants in there. Right? We're not gonna be able to get to the WordPress part without some ranting going on. It's bad, guys. It's bad out there. It's a tough world. Okay. But we're gonna talk about it. As Fat Cat Design says, LFGGG. A lot of G's. Okay. Yeah, the PS5 is hooked up back there for sure. It's mainly for my kids, but I do dabble every once in a while. Okay. Looks like the streaming setup's still on vacation. What does that mean? What's the problem with the streaming setup? All right, I don't know what y'all are up to. Giant bonfire out in the distance says WordPress. Yeah, kind of. You're sleeping on Studio. Okay. Well, good. You'll see some interesting things today. So let's first talk about where I've been. I took a little bit of a break. I took a little bit of the summer off. I have been very busy, okay? Very busy on many different fronts, just not on the traditional fronts, okay? So as you guys know, I've been in this game for a very, 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 very long time, okay? I've been building websites in general since I was like 12. And I've been through all the phases of it, you know? And then in 2020, when I started my YouTube channel, I think it was 2020, somewhere in there, which was 6 years ago. 6 years ago, right? I've been going hard in the paint for that amount of time. Not just like doing work, but trying to innovate. You know, ACSS was developed in 2021. So that's 5 years ago. And it's been like, how do we get ahead? How do we get ahead? How do we do things differently? How do we do new things? How do we communicate all those things? And how do we teach all those things? How do we build a business around those things? And yada, 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 right? So there's the inner circle, there's automatic CSS, and then frame starts to get developed. So then there's lots and lots and lots of development work on frames. There's going to conferences, there's speaking, there's more education, and then live streams, and a lot of work, a lot of hours, a lot of time, a lot of focus, a lot of attention. Of course, across all of that time, you get the people like, just droves of people who, and of course, like I'm opinionated, I'm outspoken. What have I ever done to anybody? Nothing, but I'm opinionated and outspoken. So people, anonymous people on the internet think that they can just try to shit all over you every hour, every waking hour of every day. That like seeing all that negativity and stuff takes its toll as well. But you put so much time and energy and effort into things. Then of course we do Etch, and we have a really great seed round, let's call it, of community fundraising to build it. And then we bust our ass to hit all of the timelines ahead of schedule and do things that have never been done before. Okay, so that brings us to the current day. And it's not in 4K, capped at 1080. Bro, I am streaming in 4K. I promise. I am streaming in 4K. I didn't touch anything. I'm doing the same thing I've always done. Unless there's something going on in Ecamm that I don't know of, but I'm streaming in 4K. I'm seeing 4K in my preview. So I don't know. Anyway, so then AI comes along, right? And AI slowly, comes into the mix early on. But then I've already explained how it was literally in March of this year. Okay, so if you remember January, and Page Building 101 Era 4 was currently starting, January of this year. Super excited, super hyped about it. Got it off to a great start. It was literally between January and March that there was a shift in AI with the frontier models and what they were capable of doing and what people were using them for and wanting to use them for and experimenting with and so on and so forth. And that was a absolutely significant, like undeniable shift that happened between January and March. It shifted how people learn. It shifted how people work. It shifted how people want to work. It shifted, what people were capable of doing and how we were capable of handling certain size projects differently from how we've handled them in the past. And we need to talk about probably, where all of this stuff that we're doing fits into all of this, new world that we live in, right? But we really need to segue this into WordPress because the big shift in AI, what it prompted me to do was take some time off, like over this, because when you have a shift that big, one thing I know that you shouldn't do is you shouldn't jump to a gazillion conclusions, and you shouldn't panic, and you shouldn't feel super down about it. There's a period of time where everybody is distracted by it. So everybody's talking about it, and you can go to numerous YouTube channels where they literally talk about the shift to all AI content. So the channels that you used to watch and love, all they literally talk about now is AI. Okay, so every video is something to do with AI, right? So we saw a shift in content even. And people were down about that. They were like, where did the old content go? I used to love this old content. And now all you talk about is AI. So there's like YouTube creators getting criticized for this shift as well. And it's kind of just like accepting that the old days of YouTube and the old days of web design and web development and the old days of the old days is gone. Like it's gone, right? And, you could be sad about that, or you could be happy about that, or you could be excited about that. It doesn't matter. But for me, it was like, I just want to, let's talk about the distraction that comes with that real quick. Okay, so anytime there's a new toy, like AI, like a big new toy, there's so many things you could do, and everybody's talking about it. one thing people do absolutely do is they have to go experiment with it. Like they have to go play with it. I did that. And we talk about like who's ever built anything significant with AI. Well, I will tell you that I spent the summer building something that's absolutely fucking incredible in a completely different niche, in a completely different industry, but it's absolutely incredible. And so it showed me the true capability, especially if you know what you're doing. If you to some degree, you know what you're doing. Like it's wow. It's wow, right? Now, how much does that apply to like, websites? Because that's software. How much does that apply to websites? I don't really know yet. But it is something that we need to talk about. Okay. But you have a bunch of people who have to go experiment. They feel like they have to see what it can do. And so you had a gazillion people. Okay, I'm just making up numbers out of thin air. I don't know. Gazillion people felt like a gazillion people maybe were like, ooh, let's go build astro sites. So let's just experiment. Like, can we just AI astro sites into existence? And so they went off and they spent a bunch of time doing that. And then you had people that went off into AI automation land. Oh my God, can my agency shift to being automation building stuff? I'll go build a whole bunch of automations with AI for businesses and we'll make money that way. And then there were people like, ooh, can we automate advertising? Can we set up entirely automated AI ad campaign? Now they're off doing that kind of shit. And what it create, like the number one thing it created was an insane amount of noise and distraction. And when there's that amount of noise and distraction, it's just like, you can't just be over here like, hey guys, check out Etch WP. Like, have you guys, oh, by the way, like everybody and their fucking mother can now apparently vibe code a page builder for WordPress, right? You've got them popping out of the fucking woodwork from people who have failed at everything they've done previously to that. I won't name any names, but like, and literally get people's attention with it. Not a lot of people. I mean, these things are not going to go anywhere. Just because you can vibe code it doesn't mean it's going to go anywhere or be successful or do anything. It doesn't mean it's commercially viable. It doesn't mean anything. But people are going to try. And when everybody and their mom thinks, oh, yeah, I could just pop up the next page builder for WordPress, it's more noise. It's more distraction. And whether you like it or not, it does create a feeling of, oh, there's like 1,000 of these things. And now when somebody new comes along, they can't really separate the signal from the noise. You know what I'm saying? And so it creates an uphill battle. It's like flooding the zone. You flood the zone with nonsense, and it's very hard to then focus on the stuff that matters. And that's what I felt was happening over the summer. And so instead of just trying to battle through that or like yell louder I was just like, you know what? It's probably good for a little time off. Let's let all that noise and this flooding the zone with nonsense, let's let that all settle down, okay? Because it will settle down. It will settle down at some point, and then we can get back on track with what we're doing. Because what we're doing is still extremely, extremely viable and useful and valuable. Now, this kind of segues us into the WordPress talk, because I think if WordPress, and this is not going to be new to anybody, okay? I've said this stuff before. I've talked about this stuff before. If WordPress had any fucking leadership, if WordPress had any semblance of innovation, if WordPress could move at anything faster than a snail's it's like a dead snail. It's like an injured snail. It's not even a snail's pace. It's like an injured. If a snail had an injury, like a critical mobility injury, that would be how fast WordPress moves. Okay. So if any of those things were different, we could be a little bit more excited. And I think this is an undeniable thing that when you talk about WordPress and its problems, people will go, WordPress isn't going to die anytime soon. I'm locked into WordPress, not going to die anytime soon. That's not a fucking argument, son. That is not, there's a difference between, well, it's not going to die anytime soon, versus like, I'm super fucking excited about this thing. You know, we should be excited about the stuff that we do and the platforms that we work on. Like, we should be excited. We should be energized by them. We should be excited by them. We should like their leadership. We should like what they're doing in the market. That's how we should feel about the products we use and the platforms that we build on. Nobody's saying any of that about WordPress. Not a single fucking person in the world, I'm convinced, is excited about WordPress besides Matt Mullenweg, who is you have to be completely and utterly out of touch to be excited about anything that WordPress is doing. So all that they can muster is, well, it's not going to die anytime soon. Well, sorry, I hold my platforms to a bit higher of a standard than that. And I think we all should, right? We all should. We should be going to where the innovation is happening and the excitement is happening and people actually care enough about you to give you a product that you enjoy using and so on and so forth. And WordPress does not do that. Now, WordPress just had a big WordCamp US. I mean, this should be, okay, WordPress is headquartered in the United States. WordCamp US should be the premier event for WordPress. It's not. WordPress Europe makes WordCamp Europe makes WordCamp US look like a fucking child's event, you know? Like, it's way more energetic. It's way more fun. It has better leadership. It has better volunteers from what I can see. It kind of has better everything, and it has way more numbers. It has way more people there. I said I got online. I've been tracking the trend. Let me see if I can share my screen. Let me find WordPress.org. We'll do WordCamp registration numbers. Okay, let's see if we can pull this up. It's publicly reported. Let me see if I can find the page. I don't have it saved. Let's see. I know I'm not sharing. We'll do that in a minute. Don't worry. WordCamp. I'll just say ticket sales. See if we can find it. Once I find it, I'll share. Okay. Ticket revenue report. Here we go. Okay. Let's go ahead and screen share. Okay, good. Are we good? We can see? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to go to 2018. Okay. Let's do the entire year of 20. Now, this is the worst selector I've ever seen in my life. WordCamp US. Okay. And then 2018. Okay. Show results. Okay. They have no data. Let's go to 2019. Okay. And then you got to search for the thing again. Like, oh my God, what a disaster. WordCamp US. I mean, this is exactly what you would expect from a WordPress site. Okay, nothing for. Did they clear this? Maybe is this a conspiracy? They don't want people to know anymore? WordCamp US 2020. I'm pretty sure I had access to those numbers. Not now. 2020 is. This starts to get us into COVID territory, right? It's a little suspicious that they have these years and they don't have the previous ones. 2015. That's so weird. I feel like this data was here. Okay, let's go to 2020, 2023. WordCamp US. This doesn't give us a clearer picture. Look how awful this search is. 2023. Is it just not? It's just not working right now. It still thinks I'm. There we go. Okay, my word. Okay, this is well into the decline. Okay, there was a point at which this was well over 2,000 like real tickets sold. Like, I think over 3,000 would be like the norm in the peak, WordPress, right? So let's just look at 2023 though. So you have 2149 tickets sold. It does break down Stripe transactions. This is important to look at. 1,688 people actually paid on Stripe and 148 paid on PayPal. So you really add those two numbers together. These are the real numbers. Now you come down here and you'll see this section right here. Ticket transactions with no payment for WordCamp US. So these are essentially tickets that are given away for free. So they just gave away 300 tickets, essentially, okay? Now let's go to 2024. So let's go to 2024, entire year. You can't even search by year. You have to keep searching for the same thing over and over and over again. Okay, let's go to 2024. Remember those numbers. Now we're at 1928, 1494, 86 on PayPal, and 348 given away. Little, not a huge drop off, but stable, right? Okay, now let's go to WordCamp US 2025. Okay, let's get the results for that. Oh boy, right? 2025, 1,200, 883 on Stripe, 44 on PayPal, 273 given away. Okay, now let's go to 2026. WordCamp US 2026. All right, and get us a new table. 1156, 738, 418 given away. Okay, so these numbers are, they had 730 people, really, is like how many people wanted to go. And then to make it not a ghost town, they had to give away 418 tickets just to put bodies in the fucking venue, right? So you don't wander around going, man, this is awful. This is where we're at. This is the state of where we're at. But you also look at the leadership of like some people will be like, well, it was Arizona well, let me tell you this, okay? If people are excited, they'll go to fucking Arizona. It's not that bad. I was born in Arizona. It's not that bad. Okay, they'll go to Arizona in the summer for something they're excited about. People do it all the time. So it's not that. It's not that. These are excuse makers. These are sycophants. These are people that just want to bury their head in the sand and not admit the reality that this shit's fallen off at a rapid clip. A lot of people are leaving WordPress to build sites on other platforms. They've completely shifted their business away from WordPress. They want nothing to do with WordPress. But then we look at WordCamp and we see, okay, well, what happened at the very end of WordCamp? Now, I wasn't there. I didn't go. This was the first year I was like, I'm not going to any events this year, especially not WordPress events. But this happens every WordCamp, okay? Matt Mullenweg speaks at the very end of WordCamp in some form or fashion. In this year, it was a fireside chat. It's on YouTube. You can go watch it. And it was, I was texted by no less than a dozen people who were at the event. A dozen, just imagine this. You're in an audience at an event and the leader of the brand is speaking. And 12 people at least had the thought of, I've got to text Kevin and let him know what an unmitigated disaster this is. Okay, so Matt Mullenweg shows up, I guess, 30 minutes late. 30 minutes late with apparently no preparation for what they're going to talk about. And he's getting his laptop out, fumbling his laptop around. He doesn't know what they're going to. Then he's rambling about nonsense. It's the most awkward conversation you've ever seen in your life. Okay? And it ends up being, it's just here's what it is, and it speaks to the entirety of what WordPress is and is doing right now. The level of self-importance is off the charts. Like, he probably thinks he's the most important guy in the fucking world. Like, probably thinks he's aligned with like Zuckerberg and Musk, and thinks that, okay, it's cool to show up 30 minutes late while everybody fucking sits there. It's cool to show up with nothing to say. It's cool to show up and just fucking ramble and waste everybody's time and then walk off stage. Like, their product has no respect for the users. Their leadership has no respect for the users. Why do we keep entertaining this? They clearly have no respect for any of us, and nobody wants to go there, clearly by the numbers, and nobody's excited about the product. But for some reason, everybody wants to be like, well, it's not going to die anytime soon. We should just keep doing. Like, well, what are we doing? What are we doing? That's crazy. That's just crazy talk. I would love it if, WordPress had good leadership and was like leading the like how we're all going to leverage the world of AI that we find ourselves in, and how the platform is going to change and evolve, and actually cast a vision and do all these things that should be fucking happening. Do all those things, and that we could all clearly still be excited. It's not. They're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. This is a dead. This is a dead product. This is a dead platform. I said this about Oxygen when Oxygen died, and people were like, "It's not dead. I can still use it." Look, like, okay, I'm sorry that you can't see the writing on the wall. Right? You can't read between lines. I guess you have no intuition. You have no gut instinct. You have no. I guess you're a bot. You're a bot, basically, right? Like when I say, "Hey guys, Oxygen is dead," right? And then somebody's response is like, "No, I just installed it a minute ago. It can't be dead." Like, okay, you're a moron. Thank you for being a non-playable character. Okay, that's great. You're an NPC. I don't need to know about that though. I don't need your input, right? Didn't ask you. I'm telling you the truth of the matter. Like, let's look ahead a little bit. If you can look ahead a little bit and just realize like what's going on, then you understand the page that I'm on, right? So we have to understand that about WordPress. It's gone. It's not coming back. It's just going to slowly die. Like it has a disease and it's going to slowly die. That's the eventual outcome. How long is that going to take? Who fucking cares? Who fucking cares? Just right? Who fucking cares? They don't care about you. Why should you care? Okay. That's kind of where we're at with this. So that'll start to segue into our next things. But let's take a little bit of a break here and are you measuring a business by some ticket sales for a camp in the USA that not every developer wanted to go to? No, I am measuring a business by literally 1,000 different fucking markers that are all on the decline. Okay. But this is what I have to deal with. This is why I had to take a break because it's fucking here's the thing there's two things in WordPress. There's two things in WordPress that we all have to accept. One is there's a lot of freebie seekers. There's a lot of people who they expect everything to be free and all your labor to be free and all your time to be free and all your education to be free and everything should just be free for them and everything is about them and their benefit and it's not about you and da-da-da-da-da and it's not about anybody else. It's just about them and they just want everything handed to them on a silver. Okay, that's one aspect of it. The second aspect of it is that there's like just in my opinion, based on the people who blah, blah, blah at me all fucking day long, there is a massive, like low IQ problem. Like there's just not a lot. It's not very high. It's just not very high. Cause they'll say things like that. Like I make 100 arguments and then I bring up WordCamp and they're like, you're just judging it off a WordCamp? Okay. Like I can't spend my time on that. Like your IQ is not high enough to be in this conversation. So you could listen if you want to, pick up what you're able to pick up, but we don't need your input. Okay. You have to be over like, let's just say 80, 90, like somewhere that might be the bare minimum. Just be over 80, 90 if you're going to put some input in. Okay. Other than that, like you might want to just sit out and listen. So no, we'll don't worry. We'll get into all that. Let's take a little pit stop into the chat. See, the first comment. Why did I read that comment as the first comment? Okay, so let's see. Okay. I received multiple invites for today's stream. Was the live stream supposed to be at 11 a.m. or 5 p.m. Eastern? It's 11 a.m. 11 a.m. for sure. If you're on Circle, it's going to invite you in your time zone, by the way. Like Circle knows your time zone. So that's what they were saying in the WP Tuts. Oh, were they talking about the what was it? The fireside chat? Is that what they were talking about as well? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't encourage you guys to go watch it. I mean, I wouldn't do that to you. Like, I have more respect for your time. I'm not going to tell you to go watch the fireside chat because nobody would tell their friend to go watch a Matt Mullenweg fireside chat. But take my word for it, okay, when I give you the recap. All right. Our problem is that clients know AI exists and do not want to pay premium anymore for a good site. I don't know. There's nuance to that. Okay. I don't know. Let's get into the next phase of this. A lot of people are saying AI does it for them. Oh, you guys must be having a side conversation. I don't know. Kevin is not responsible for the downfall of WordPress. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing that's been happening the entire. I've been talking about it the entire time. Nobody fixed it. I told them exactly how to fix it, but you know, some people don't want to listen. So, there were a number of us that told you that WP was dead over 3 years ago, and again 2 years ago. We thought you were going to make a replacement for WP. Well, yeah, I mean, that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today, right? I mean, I agreed with you. Right? You can go back and watch the streams. All right. Well, I'm sorry. You don't have to watch. You can go watch anything else that you want to watch. Totally fine. But we need context, right? We need context to all of this. But this stream is about where we got people. Oh, and this is a good thing to talk about too, right? There's a lot of people. Where's Kevin? Why haven't we heard from Kevin? Where's the videos? Where's the streams? Where's the this? Where's the that? Then I get on to tell you, and when somebody's like, this isn't what I wanted to hear today. Okay, fuck off. Like what? Like what do you want? I talk about what I want to talk about. Turn the fucking thing off. Then go watch something else. There's 300 people here, right? So everybody's like, this is the fucking internet. Well, why won't you do what I want you to do? There's fucking 80 million of you. How am I? It's impossible. Why can't we recognize? This might be the IQ thing. Can you not recognize that you're one of millions of people who have preferences and everybody's is this earth-shattering news that everybody on earth, their preferences don't align? This is fucking news. So I got to hear about this every day. This is what I'm talking. This is why I had to take a break, guys. This is so fucking exhausting. Just have a higher IQ. Just do better. Make better comments. Do better chat. Do better all this shit. Just be better. We don't have to all hear about this. Okay. My word. So let's talk about Studio, right? So we decided over the summer, we're going to, because I asked some questions and we did make a mistake. I made a mistake. We made a mistake. And that was to talk about something called Etch Static. So talking about Etch Static, and we were just, we were kicking around ideas. And static was big at the time. Okay. Cause you got Astro, static, that's the buzzword or whatever. Okay. So we threw around the word static, and it gets your brain going in a certain direction. And what people thought was, okay, I'll be able to build static sites. But, what I really like is, loops and logic and, custom post types, content types, whatever you want to call them. This dynamic stuff, I really like the dynamic stuff. And most of the sites that I build are dynamic sites, dynamic data, right? And so I started to ask the team, I'm like, we could deploy statically, but can't we, we need all the other stuff, right? We really need all the other stuff. I don't want to build an entire CMS like WordPress that's gigantic and ginormous. And people did ask us to do that. But we ran numbers. And it was it's just millions and millions of dollars and time. And it's it's crazy, it's, people will say WordPress is too big to fail in a way. It's not, but that people will say that because of how massive it is, right? And so if you're well, just replace that. What, in a fucking summer? What? That's, how are we going to do that? That's not really viable. But we did do some experimentation. We did kick around some things. We did put some prototypes together. We did a lot of and we came to the conclusion that, okay, we're not going to replace WordPress. But if we look at the sites that people are building, and I look at my own sites, I look at my own portfolio. Now, mind you, I don't do e-commerce sites, okay? So that's a separate little category. E-commerce is its own category. But as an agency that was for service-based businesses, like a service-based business agency, I would say that 8 to 9 out of 10 sites that I built only needed the lightweight version of WordPress, if you wanted to call it that. Take a WordPress Lite, where it's I have custom fields and I have taxonomies, and I can do some relationships, and I have dynamic data, and I have Etch as like a visual builder, and I have an AI integration so I can work agentically if I want to. If all of that existed without all the baggage of WordPress, the nonsense of WordPress, the slowness of WordPress, the horrible back end of WordPress, without all the downsides, just can I have dynamic data, loops, logic, content types, and a great builder? Like I can build 8 to 9 out of 10 projects. It's just not necessary. WordPress is just not necessary for those projects. So if I had that, I wouldn't need WordPress for those things. I wouldn't need WordPress for hardly anything. That was the conclusion that I came to. And so that's what we started to look around at doing. Now, when we called it static in the beginning, that was the mistake because people didn't equate those things with static. They don't equate dynamic data, loops, logic, and all this other stuff with static. Templating, okay, with static. And so that's where I was like, well, it's not static. Like it's deployed statically, yes, but it does things that a typical static site can't do or doesn't typically do, right? In terms of its architecture and all of that. We also realized that not only can I build 8 to 9 out of 10 sites that I don't need WordPress anymore, when I build them, they're essentially hosted for free. So what we charge clients for hosting, what we charge clients for maintenance, right? There's really no maintenance anymore. There's no, WordPress 7.1 has a critical security. Okay, like that's been fun over the last few weeks, right? So can you lose the WordCamp graphic? Yeah. Sorry, my fault. Still don't have a producer, that's why I got to keep my eye on the chat. Okay. So that's where Studio comes in because I think we've accomplished that. Now, not when I say accomplished, it's not like it's done and it's like, hey, everybody, this is not like a sales pitch. Okay. This is not a launch. Okay. I'm not going to give you a checkout code at the end of this video. Okay. What I'm here to do is to show you some things and ask you a question, right? And that question is very, very, very simple based on what I'm showing you today. And we legitimately want your feedback. I want to hear exactly how you think and how you feel. And the question is this, right? So based on what I'm about to show you, and think about the sites that you build. Now, e-commerce people, I don't want to hear from you right now, okay? You're in a different category. We'll talk about you later, okay? We'll talk about you later. If you're the non-e-commerce kind of person, okay, you build typical sites for, let's just call them service-based businesses, right? I mean, it could be SaaS. It could be you could be in a niche, right? But it fits into that category of, let's say, like a non-e-commerce site. How about that? Just a non-e-commerce site, right? Out of every 10 sites you build, think about how many actually need WordPress. If, let's say you're in Etch, you're just inside of Etch. Remember, Etch is a unified development environment, right? And the unification part means that you could, remember it has a content hub? I'm going to show you in a minute. We're going to jump in there in a minute. But I just want you to envision it, okay? Remember it has a content hub. So you can create different types of content. So you could create pages, you could create posts. I don't know how many people blog anymore, but you could create posts as a content type. You could create services as a content type. You could create team as a content type. You could create blah, 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 blah. You can get data from a third-party API. So if there's a third-party API external to your site that you need data from, you could get data from that external API. You could also get JSON-based data and loop through that JSON-based data. And your content types obviously are compatible with loops and logic and dynamic data and so on and so forth. You can do taxonomies. I mean, we have to talk about that a little bit, right? The way WordPress does taxonomies, we came to the conclusion is not really probably the best architecture for how taxonomies are done. And the way that WordPress doesn't do relationships, you guys know that WordPress doesn't do relationships, right? It's not a relational system. That the relationships that ACF and Metabox use are proprietary ways of mapping data that's not really supported by the architecture of WordPress. It's kind of like a workaround, let's call it, right? And so if it was architected properly and you were very easily able to create dynamic relationships between content types and pieces of data, that you are able to get data even outside of loops from any content type, essentially globally. I don't need a loop to access that data. So you've got content types, you've got loops, you've got logic, you've got dynamic data, you have taxonomies, you have relationships, you have the full visual builder, you have a coming front-end client editor where the client can just open a page on the front end and edit content. Do you need WordPress for most of the sites that you, by the way, and you can host it it's just hosted for free. It's just free. You just hit publish and it's free. It's just there. It exists on the internet for free. And you can manage all your projects in one place. I was asking myself the same question. I was like, what would I need WordPress for? Like at that point, what would I need WordPress for? And so that's what we're very close to. That's what we're very close to. So I want you guys to, in the chat, we're going to look at it in a minute, look at the progress so you see where it's at. But you could think of Studio as a lightweight CMS. Hey, if you feel like you don't need the, let's call it robustness of Word, I call it baggage, the baggage of WordPress. A positive spin would be the robustness of WordPress. The baggage of WordPress. You don't need the baggage of WordPress, right? Or do you still feel like you need the baggage? I don't know. Do you or don't you? What would you need? You could do templating. You could do all the things I just said. What would you still need, right? Which, by the way, facets, yeah, still a thing. Still a thing. Facets would be still a thing. What's missing? What's missing? What's missing? I built so many websites for clients that all they want to be able to edit content whenever they want, and they just don't ever. Yeah, I mean, that is true. A lot of clients do say, oh, I have to be able to edit the website. And then they end up being like, I'm too busy. Can you just do it for me? That kind of thing. That happens all the time. I think just a little agency, little tip there. I think what people are trying to communicate when they say that is they don't want to be locked out. That's really the bottom line. They're just kind of telling you like, hey, I don't want I don't want this to be a black box. I want access because they just, it's a security thing. They just feel more comfortable. It's like it's like their blankie. They've got their blankie if they if they can get in, but they actually don't want to do the work to edit. Yeah, proper content management. That's kind of what I just described. I don't know that I'd even need loops or dynamic content if I had an agent connected to a site. No, like you would. It's still way better. Trust me. It's still way better. It's still way better. One thing that I learned in my vibe coding experiments over the summer is that I still so fucking often wish that there was a visual interface where I could click on things and just edit them and change them and do some things like that. Because the reprompt, ask for everything, it's really annoying sometimes. It's really, really annoying. If I'm looking at the thing and I'm like, I just want to touch that and change it, and fix it, I will just do that. I would rather have that thing. So the idea of just working in Cursor, just working in Claude Code, not having a visual interactive interface, it's not really that interesting. If I could do the things that I'm doing, but also have the visual interface, 1,000 times out of 1,000, I want the visual interface to go along with it. It's just not even a question. It's way too valuable and way too efficient, right? You also have to remember that when you are asking AI to do things, when you're asking AI to do things in Etch that involve loops, logic, and dynamic data, it's always going to use the architecture of Etch to do loops, logic, and dynamic data, which means that you can always go in and fiddle with the loop, fiddle with the dynamic data, fiddle with the logic. If you do that in vibe coding land, and let's say it's using Svelte, or it's using React, or it's using something that you don't really know the language of, you can't ever go in and touch that stuff. You can't ever go in and fiddle with it, change it, update it, whatever. You always are stuck prompting. You always are stuck, and you're really stuck not even knowing how it's all put together in the back end. That's the reality of that. So there is a value to, oh yeah, it used an Etch loop, and it used Etch dynamic data keys, and it used Etch's logic system. So I can open that page at any time and go freely edit it and not break any of that stuff and build on top of that stuff. And that is tremendous flexibility. You're not stuck in the prompt generator cycle, right? Okay, so okay. Yeah, I mean, forms, the forms thing we'll talk about. Forms already exist outside of WordPress. There's a tremendous amount of third-party form systems. They're really, really, really good. In some cases, it'll be an add-on, like you have to pay for that third-party form system. Typeform is outrageously expensive. I think it's way, way, way overpriced, but it's not the only option, right? But those things absolutely get the job done. And when you're talking about hosting sites for free, and let's say you're building an unlimited amount of sites on a very small fee, right? Like for using Studio. And you're essentially just able to run your entire agency off like a tiny fee. Like you're not over budget by putting a third-party form system in, you know what I'm saying? And there are advantages to it, by the way. I think once people realize that storing form submissions in WordPress was already a stupid idea, like already it's just not efficient. It's not great. Submitting the form is not a problem. Like we could do form submissions. What would be missing is storing those submissions in a database, right? So I would argue WordPress isn't even good for that anyway. And how often are you really very often like going into WordPress to check your logs, like your form submission logs, and getting data out of, I don't know how often people actually do that. Anyway, that's a side thing. Let's get into, I don't want this to be like an 8-hour thing today. So let's just go in here. Let me delete this test site. Now, keep in mind, this is it's still very I don't know what stage I would alpha. Let's just say that. I guess alpha would be a good thing for it. There's still a lot of polish to do on UI. We're mainly solving architectural problems right now, because you have to think we have completely redone loops. So the loop system is now a data sources system. Content types is going to expand into natively handling taxonomies and relationships. So there's a lot we have to talk about. Just keep in mind, view this as a work in progress alpha. This is a progress update. This is not, like I said, this is not a, here's your checkout code, available for, no, we're not doing any of that today. All we're doing is just looking at progress, and we're answering a question. And the question is, okay, based on what I'm seeing, right, the capabilities that I'm looking at, how many sites do I actually need WordPress for? That's it. That's the base level question. Okay. All right. So I'm going to create a new website. We are going to create, actually this, I just went to Claude Design here. If you haven't used Claude Design yet, you can design with AI in Cursor using, Opus, Fable, whatever you want to do. And I've shown how to do that to paper and all of that. But if you're wanting to do something very quick and you haven't played with Claude Design yet, it's very good. It's very good. I would recommend it. You should go in and just give it a shot and see what it's capable of. You can still interact with some things on here. It's super basic. But it has really good output. So I made this Fathom coffee shop. Let me also see what I'm being messaged. Okay. Oh, am I not sharing the screen? Okay, thank you. My team is on it. Somebody on my team was on it. Okay, here's Fathom Coffee. This was literally a single prompt, by the way. I mean, it's nothing insanely fantastic, okay? I don't know what this divider line is here, but I'll show you. Let me see if I can, yeah, right here. This is trash. Okay. You can just tap on things and then just give a comment and it'll make an adjustment. Let me go check on this while I'm here. Yeah, screen share. Yeah, we got it. We're on it. Don't worry. Let's refresh. See, now the thing that was trash is gone. Look at that. So you can just interact kind of like that. Okay. So there's some talking points here. There's some cards here for showing the vibe. Here's a little menu. Here's a little menu going on here. Okay. And this is it's just a website. Like, does this website need WordPress, guys? I need the homepage. There's going to be a conference room page. There's going to be a page dedicated to the ambiance. I think there was going to be a team page. There was going to be a contact page, right? Like right now it's a one-page website because that's all I asked it to design, but it would end up being a 5, 6, 7-page website. It's going to need content types. So let's take a look at, it's going to need global data, right? So global data like the address, the phone number. So you guys know options pages are a thing in ACF and Metabox. They always have options pages. So the question is, can I have global data like that? Can I have talking points, right? Data. I might have a content type for talking points, or I just might put that in JSON. I don't know. It's up to you. Can I have galleries? What can I do with images? Can I have this menu? Okay, we're going to obviously need to have a menu of items. That's going to be a loop. That's going to be dynamic data. To really do it right, like, could you do it statically? Yeah, you could do it statically, but who wants to? Pure static is really an annoyance, okay? If you're going to do something like this purely statically, even if AI is going to help you do it, it's still an annoyance. It's an annoyance, right? This is a classic site that people would build on WordPress. This is a classic site that people would build, hours and directions, that people would build on WordPress. And the question is, like, if you can do all the things that I just mentioned, do you need WordPress and why? Do you need WordPress and why? That's really the question, okay? So I don't know. It's called Fathom Coffee. So Fathom Coffee, we're going to create the website. Okay, our website is created. Now, I'm just going to click on it, and it's going to take me into Etch. And we talked about, remember, unified development environment, okay? Unified development environment. Now, we got to talk about ACSS. ACSS was built for WordPress. It's a WordPress plugin. It has a PHP processor inside of it. It also has a JavaScript processor inside of it, but we need to make the conversion from the PHP processor to the JavaScript processor. But long story short, we're fairly confident that ACSS can live right inside here, and you'll have the exact same ACSS-based workflow that you've had with the same ACSS dashboard and live preview and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, okay? That's still being worked on. That's in the works right now, okay? Now, you can use ACSS still. So if you just go grab the ACSS style sheet and pop it in, you can still go here. So you can go to the style manager. You still have your style sheets. You can literally go add style sheet, ACSS, and you could paste the ACSS style sheet right there and hit save, and now it's on your website. Now you're using ACSS, okay? Or you can now, here's the thing, guys. People are very critical of everything that I do, okay? If I used ACSS in this live stream, 50% of the people, not 50%, a small percentage, would be mad. It feels like 50% often because I only hear from the people that are mad. You never hear from the people like, hey, thanks for using ACSS in that live stream. Nobody ever says that. Nobody ever says that. But a bunch of people will be like, why do you always, I don't use ACSS. Why do you use it in the live? Then I can't follow it. Okay. So we get those complaints. Now, if I don't use ACSS, we will get some people who use ACSS. I wish I could have seen that with ACSS. So here we are once again in the internet boat where it's going to sink no matter what. You can't, somebody's going to be upset no matter what you do. All right. But keeping this simple for the purpose of this, I'm just going to say, let's just look at native Etch, no ACSS, which I've always argued, no ACSS is, why would anybody want to work like that? It's an annoyance. It's a headache, but we'll see what we can get done. I'm also going to, see, Curtis is already thanking me for using ACSS. And then, so why don't you use ACSS? Okay. Yeah, they're making a joke. I get it. Haha. Okay. I'm going to turn on the AI connector. You do have the AI connector, right? Let me get Cursor open here. I'm going to go new window. And I do want to give you guys a tip for using Cursor as the connector. All right. So Cursor has this. I'm going to close these. I think it's Command J. No. The agents window. That's what we want. So if you are more like, I don't want to see the file system and all that. Okay. I just want chat. Like that's all I want, right? And we can go pin. I don't use the agent mode very much. How do I start a new? Let's go. How do I start a new chat? Go to Etch connector. Is it here? File terminal side chat, new side chat. Okay. All right. I don't know. Can I minimize this? I'm going to show you something about this. Okay. Actually, this might be. Let's just do this. I can probably use that same exact window. So cursor. Let's just do this. Let's see if this works. I don't know if I want to use Opus either. Let's use 5.6. Okay. Curtis says he's yet to be able to get the connector working. In WordPress, really? In the WordPress version? So when you click this connector button, it's going to copy the command to your clipboard, okay? It's already connected to Etch Studio, page ID 1. Okay, well, show me. Build this hero section for this coffee shop, okay? Let me go grab a screenshot of this, and we'll just see if it's connected already. But what you can do is, and I'm going to show you, kind of both ways. I mean, it doesn't have ACSS, so I honestly don't want to do anything manually. Like, why would you want to do anything manually without ACSS? Let's do this, and let's do this, and let's do this. So essentially you have a side chat over here, right? Okay, can I put this in? Let's just see if it builds this. Now it might, I think I was connected to an ACSS project. It might still think we have ACSS on the site. It might try to use ACSS, I don't know. But I'm just gonna see if the connector works. The point I'm making with this little demo is that in Etch Studio, you could still work agentically. And there will be the native AI chat as well. So if you guys are used to using the native AI chat in Etch, that will be available. The connector will be available. I didn't want to get on the stream and build a bunch of stuff manually because the first thing that people are going to be like, I don't work that way anymore, Kevin. I build agentically. Everything I do is agent. Okay, you're going to get that crowd, right? So this is just a demonstration that, hey, it's still agentic. Like, it's just because it's not in WordPress anymore doesn't mean that we don't have the agentic capabilities. Okay. Yep, nodes, it looked for a design system, it seems like. So it has no existing design center medium. So I'm matching the reference directly with the scope plain CSS and responsive 2-column layout. I'll use a verified coffee shop photograph and stack the images below the copy on smaller screens. Okay, and then we'll go in and look at media upload in just a second as well. But I just want to see it get something on the page here. And then I want to show you publishing as well. Okay, so you can see that. Does not look any different from Etch. Yeah, that's the exact goal. That's exactly the plan. Yeah, you're using Etch. That's it. You're using Etch. You're building sites in Etch. Congratulations, you're building sites in Etch. Okay, all right. So there we go. It threw that in there. So I'm gonna hit save. All right. So that's a good. All right. Step 1 done. Now I'm gonna go to settings and we're gonna go to deployment. Okay, and I'm gonna click this connect Cloudflare button right here. And it already has my credentials, okay? I'm just gonna authorize this real quick. And it's gonna take me back into Etch, okay? And I don't know what happened to our CSS here, but I will refresh. Maybe we will get, let's see, what happened? Okay. Oh, you know what? I may have connected Cloudflare before I saved it. So let's just have it, I'll just say, do it again. All right. Spun up a fresh WordPress site today on a client's host, logged in and saw that the Hello Dolly plugin was bundled in there. Yeah. Well, Hello Dolly is a very interesting thing in WordPress. I believe it's owned by Automatic, right? Hello Dolly is owned. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's owned by Automatic. They put it, it's one of those signs that they just don't care about you. They just don't care. Does anybody want Hello Dolly? They shove it in there so that there's just something prepackaged from your friends at Automatic, right? Nobody wants it. It's the first thing everybody uninstalls. It's really, really annoying. Really annoying. But yeah, it's like, man, why? Like, why? Oh, sorry, I disconnected the tab. Let's do that again. Yeah. Yes, please rebuild the hero. You did a great job the first time. Just so you know. Just so you know. Okay. It was developed by Matt. Yeah, okay. So not even like automatic. It was like by Matt in general. Intended to show devs how to create a basic plugin. Yeah, and that's fine. Like, don't prepackage it on every website that I build in 2026. Like, it's crazy. The other thing, somebody actually posted an X post about this earlier today that was another indicator, like that they just don't really care, right? So remember how much we begged for responsive controls in Gutenberg? And we were like, this is crazy. There's no breakpoints in Gutenberg. You can't work responsively in Gutenberg. That's crazy, right? And we told them how crazy that was. And they were like, no. Fuck you guys. The future is intrinsically responsive, and you'll never need breakpoints. You'll never need media queries. You'll never need container queries. And we were like, no, we're pretty sure that's wrong. Like, we're pretty sure that's wrong. Like, you're gonna need container queries for sure. Like, to think that they know more about the future of CSS than the fucking CSS working group that is developing CSS, guys. That's phenomenal self-importance. A phenomenal level of self-importance. It's off the charts self-importance, right? Like, the CSS working group is working on container queries, and Matt Mullenweg's like, you're not going to need any of that. Like, you're not going to need any of that. Like, fuck you, my guy. Fuck you. And what happened now? They had to give it to you, didn't they? Didn't they have to give it to you? They had to put it in. So how many years? 6 years? 6 years they were told, you guys are doing this wrong. You guys, no, we're not. No, we're not. Shut up. No, we're not. And then eventually they had to concede and say, yeah, they had to be here. They should have been here the whole time, right? Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna hit save. And what I'm going to do now, remember I connected Cloudflare, so I'm just gonna hit deploy. It's gonna hit deploy. It takes a minute to push the files. Remember, it basically compiles everything. Okay, so it compiles the whole site, packages it up, ships it off to Cloudflare. All right, and I still don't know what's going on with the CSS. Let's inspect. What is it trying to do? I don't know. Let me go. Let's do this. Let's delete this. Of course it was working 5 seconds before the stream started. Hello, this is Fathom. Okay. It could be because CSS. I didn't even look at the CSS it wrote. It said it was going to write static CSS, but I'm zooming into my window for some reason. All right, let's just do this. Deploy to Cloudflare. Kevin, the Etch Studio checkout is on. Oh, okay. Whatever. So that's fine. Let's go. Deploying the Cloudflare. Okay. Let's just go to the front end. There we go. Okay. So this is, we have to point a domain at this, right? But the point is connect to Cloudflare, one click, deploy the site, boom, bing, bam, boom. You're like, this is live. Right? So there's no hosting set up. You don't have to choose a hosting package. You don't have to, it's going to my agency's Cloudflare. So if you were the agency building the site, it would deploy to your Cloudflare. However, you could go in and set up a Cloudflare for a client, or a client could have an existing Cloudflare. And you could just connect to theirs and just push the website right to theirs. So it's literally hosted on their Cloudflare. So it could be on your Cloudflare. It could be on their Cloudflare. Like, you have full control over that. But this is online. This is on the internet. You can go to this address right here, and it's hosted for free. There is no cost to host the site. And I can go ahead and continue building and build the entire thing and hit save and publish, and it will be live and online, and it's just free. It's just free. and there's no maintenance. It will just exist there for free. No baggage, no drama, no nothing. Okay. Now let's go in and take a look around here. Okay. I'm gonna clear that off the screen and save. I don't know what's going on with CSS right now, but we'll take a look at that in a minute. I want to look at some of the other things. Let's go to the asset manager, which a lot of you guys are familiar with, right? You've already seen this stuff. I'm going to go to downloads real quick. I'm going to grab, I just got a bunch of coffee shop looking photos. I'm just going to bulk upload those real quick. We're going to let those, these are full resolution, by the way. These are like full res images. Okay. And I am going to click those and I am going to hit compress. Okay. And this brings up, you guys have seen this as well. This was shipped in the Etch WP. So everybody that's using Etch for WordPress is already familiar with this workflow. But it lists all of your assets right here. It puts all the originals. I'm going to go ahead and hit resize. And I'm going to do relative dimensions. Okay, I want the longest side to be 1920. I think that's a good value there. And then I do want to output in WebP. Okay, so it's going to have all your originals, 2.9 to 166, 817 to 28, 2.4 to 188. It's giving you previews over here. This is what all of your images are going to look like. You can hide or show the original. It's a good thing that when I toggle that, I'm not really seeing any difference. Okay, I can go ahead and compress, and it's going to bulk compress these. You probably can't see it because of the contrast down there, but it's counting through them all. Okay. And it should be good. Okay, I can also categorize these. So we'll say the shop or whatnot, okay? And then you can drag all of those in, right? So you can put all of those in the shop. Patch Studio, okay. I don't know. I don't know what my unauthorized is doing. But puts them in your categories. And now you're going to be able to put those images on the website. I'm going to go to Style Manager. You still have all of your selectors. You still have all of your variables. You still have, so Dahunzi a minute ago was like, hey, it's Etch. Yeah, it's Etch, right? Style sheets, your custom media definitions. Nothing has changed here. Nothing has changed here. In the Content Hub, there are some changes here that we'll go over. Nothing has changed in media. Nothing has changed in Style Manager, but we will go over what has changed in the Content Hub. So you get this content type page by default. Remember in WordPress, post is the default. And then there's these posts and there's these pages. And they're weird because they do different things. And so if you want to taxonomize things, you need a post. And then we went through this whole diatribe of like, you should probably never use pages, right? Pages are like, minimize the amount of pages. That was like the way we taught it in WordPress because all of the features were contained in posts. Like taxonomies and doing relationships easier, all that stuff existed in posts, not pages. This is just content types. So it's not custom post types, right? Very long and wordy. And then the word post never made sense, right? I don't understand why is my team member a post? Like I'm pretty sure they're like a page, right? So you just have content types now. That's it. Now, if you want to make a content type called post, you can make a content type called post, and you could put blog posts in here, like for sure. Very easy, okay? But you can also very easily come in and say, you know, my team members are going to go in here as well. You could say our menu is going to go in here as well. And so you would come in here and just lay out the architecture of your website. So I'm going to have team members, I'm going to have menu items, I'm going to have posts, I'm going to have pages, I'm going to have whatever. Okay? Then we have fields, okay? So if you swap over to fields, you can add custom fields. That was another big question that people had in their mind in the world of static. They would not have custom fields, but you will absolutely have custom fields as well. And you could choose what you're mapping these fields to, okay? So my team, for example, I can add a custom field. You can add text area number. There will be way more, obviously, okay? Remember, we're working right now on just architecture. Just let's make sure we nail down the correct architecture. Let's get the basics of that architecture in here. Let's get it working so people can see it. Let's make sure it's hosted on the front end. Let's get all those kinds of things ready and going, right? So I could have like the name, okay? So the name, I could have another field, which is like their short bio or something. Okay, so their short bio. Their short bio goes here, something like that. Name goes, so we'll just say Tyler. All right. And then you could just continue creating fields. I'm creating fields for team right now. And if I wanted to hop over and create fields for my menu items, I could hop over to menu and start creating fields for my menu items, right? So I'll do a text area, which is like item description. This is a description of the menu item. Okay, perfect. And we'll save. And then I can hop back over to the content tab and you can start putting your team in here. So I can say like Joshua, right? So Joshua, create an item. And then I can do another item like Sally. Okay, create the item. You can edit these items. So you just put in your content for your fields. But these also exist as pages. Like they can have URLs and you can design an entire page for them in Etch, and you can eventually have templates. Templates is probably the next thing that we are working on. Another thing that people didn't expect when we called it static is like templating, okay? Full templating will be there. The reason it's not there yet is because we're not copying the way that WordPress did it. So we have the templating architecture in Etch for WordPress, but we once again came to the conclusion that, hey, and keep in mind, guys, like WordPress is from 2003, 2004. Like that's a very different world back then. I don't think, and it was built for blogging. They weren't thinking about like complex bidirectional relationships back then. They weren't thinking about how templating should really work in 2026 back in 2023. You know what I'm saying? And we've had things like React and Svelte, and like there's a lot of languages that have pushed templating forwards a whole lot since then. And so if we just kind of copied the way WordPress did it, one, it would be wrong. It would be backwards. It would not be good. It would not be as good as it should be. And two, it's just, that's boring, right? It's like we're supposed to be innovating. We're supposed to be doing things differently in 2026 than they were done in 2023. So that part is still being architected. Like we're re-innovating, we're checking, okay, what if we do it this way? What are the pros and cons? What do we do if we do it this way? What are the pros and cons? But that's going to arrive very, very soon. So there will be templating. And then there will be relationships. And it's going to be hopefully as easy as this, guys. I want to relate my team to locations. Okay, that would be another content type that we would have. Locations, right? I want to relate team to locations. It would literally be click, click, done. That's it. Click, click, done. Okay, because the way the back end of Etch Studio is architected already allows for essentially exactly that. Like there's no UI for it yet, but it will be as easy as that. I just want to relate those two things together. Done deal. Okay, so we have content types. We have custom fields, we have media, we have style manager. You can put all your content in. You can, by the way, bulk put content in. So once we have the native AI installed in here, just like you can do in WordPress, hey, create me some custom post types. And here's a spreadsheet, by the way. You upload a little spreadsheet file. This is all my data that I want to be in these custom these content types. And by the way, while you're in there, for every column in this spreadsheet, I want you to make a custom field and attach it to that content type. The AI will essentially do all of that for you because that's what it does in WordPress right now. So that will do that in Etch Studio as well. So you can be thinking about that workflow, being able to do that agentically, because nobody wants to sit here and type line by line, each team member or each menu item or each location. We now work in a world where we can just like have a spreadsheet of those things, upload the spreadsheet and say, hey, you do that. And your little agent goes off and does that and creates the architecture for you. That would be that's like my vision of the workflow. And that's what exists in WordPress. That will exist in Studio very soon. Because if you feel that way, I feel that way too. Like I don't want to work that way. I don't want to manually type in item by item. No, but I don't think anybody wants to do that. Does anybody want to do that? Raise your hand if you want to do that. Okay. All right, so I showed that part of it. We showed the media part of it. Let's go to the data manager. This is completely brand new, okay? Like I said, we re-architected the loop manager. So you remember in Etch WP, you had a loop manager, and you configured loops in PHP, And why did we do it that way? Because that's how WordPress demands that it be done. Now, we actually think this data sources workflow is actually going to come over to HWP. So that would be ideal. If we can just map this completely over, we're confident that we can. But we had to get it working in an Etch Studio first, right? So I'm going to do new data source, and we're going to take a look at a couple things. And I'm not going to go too deep into I'm not going to make it work. Maybe I'll do like a REST API. That would maybe be an easy one to do. Okay. But you have three sources now. You have JSON, you have API, and you have JavaScript. Okay. Now, what's going to happen very shortly? Let me explain this how easy this is going to be. It stands to reason that when you create a team content type and a menu content type and a locations content type and a post content type, you want to be able to loop through those things, right? That's like the reasoning, okay? So when you go to Data Manager, as soon as you make the content types, you go to Data Manager, those will be listed right there. And I think this push was supposed to happen today. I think it's probably going to happen after this stream. So if you are one of the people that have early access to Studio, you'll see it. But essentially, right when I make those content types, if I hop over here, they're listed right there as data sources. They are native data sources. Native data sources. Now, they're not listed right here because I don't have the update, but if I go to JavaScript, right, and I say menu, and I hit create, okay, there is a preset in here for it. So I can query pages or query by type or filter by field. I can query here, and I can say menu, and let me go back to, I think I called it menu items. Let me see exactly what I called it. This is why it's important for us to create them automatically so people don't have to screw around with it. No, it is called menu. Okay, type menu, limit. Oh, I didn't put any menu items in. So there's nothing for it to query. You have to menu item. Let's do, can Kevin spell croissant correctly off the top of his head? Is that it? Did I get it? Create item. Okay. So there's a croissant, right? Let's go over and do, let's edit the item. The most delicious croissant. Is this correct, guys? Is this correct? The most delicious croissant you've ever had. Okay, save. All right, not my best copywriting job, let's be honest, okay? All right, let's go over to data sources. Yeah, I want to save and continue. Thank you. Okay, so we have a new schema view, which is quite cool. I really like it. Do you guys remember in WordPress the laundry list of results you would get back in JSON format? This returns one result one by one, and it actually paginates them. Let me go back to Content Hub. Let me go to menu. Let's add something else, okay? Let's go chocolate donut. All right, let's create that item. And then chocolate donut is a gourmet. Am I correct on that? These are from France, right? These words. This is why they're so hard. Okay. A gourmet donut with chocolate frosting. All right, let's save that. Okay, let's go back to data sources. And we should see if we reload. We'll look up here, item 1 out of 2. This is really nice because, one, it tells you the types, okay, of all of the keys. But it also, like, you can flip through each. It's not a laundry list of like an infinite scroll. Where does one item begin and another item end? Okay, that game is over. This is nice and organized, and it's item by item by item, and you can see. And so here's the fields, item description, the most delicious croissant you've ever had. Okay, nice new view. And again, for HWP users, that schema view is going to come to HWP. So you guys will like that and enjoy that as well. This will help even more in WordPress because WordPress throws a gazillion keys and values for every item, even though you don't need stuff. Okay. Oh, somebody said the T is silent. Croissant. Oh, is that it? Croissant. Is that? Hey, great. Okay. Out of. Oh wait, no, it's a W. Croissant. It's a W. Oh, this is wild. Oh, it's from Vienna. Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm gonna give you the pronunciation. You give me out of 10. What's my rating out of 10? Croissant. Okay, that's it. I'm putting that one in the books. I'm submitting that's my final answer. Give me a rating out of 10. Yeah, I can close the chat window here. We'll get a little more screen real estate. Don't say there you go. I need a rating. I need a rating out of 10. Oh, don't make me do creme brulee. Don't make me do that. All right. I'll wait for the ratings to come in. 8 out of 10. 10. Okay, hey, look at the Hunzy. The Hunzy got no love. No love here. A 6? A 6. I got a few 10s. This guy gives me a 6. It's unbelievable. Okay. All right. So data sources. We've got 2 menu items in here. So let's just go in here. By the way, how flat and annoying does the world look without automatic CSS? Isn't that just womp womp, right? Now you could go to style sheets. Here's my main style sheet. Let's see if this actually works, right? Section, not section, 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 not section, section. I think that would be the selector. Section, not section, section. Let's do padding block of like 6M. Let's do padding inline of 2M, something like this. Okay, let's go back. Let's see if we're... Oh, okay, we got some section padding. All right, nice. Okay. I could copy an ACSS style sheet and put it in here, but I'm just rocking and rolling kind of quick. Okay. Let's say our menu. I just want to show you loops real quick, okay? This should probably be, I mean, it's a hero. Okay, whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Let's do menu. We'll do menu section. This will be I'll just say this is the inner. I'm not going to go crazy on this. Okay. Let's do, that's going to be the section intro. And then I'm going to do another container in here. That is going to be, now remember, I'm doing this manually. You can do this agentically if you want to. Okay. Like I feel like we live in this world now where I have to keep giving that like reassurance to people. You can do it agentically. You don't have to do it manually by hand. Okay. Let's say menu items. All right. And this would be like one item. Okay. Menu item. All right, you can still do the right click, convert to list kind of thing. Okay, all the normal shortcuts and everything that you're used to having are there as well. Let's do text. Okay, item name, something like that. Okay, let's do right click, generate BEM classes for menu items and menu item parent. Okay, that should all be fine. Let's just do a flex column. Let's do a little content gap. And we should be good to go. So if I did duplicate these things, this is what they would look like. All right. I'm not going to build the whole menu. I'm beyond that. I'm lazy now. I'm a busy guy. We're not going to do all that. We're just showing you functionality. Okay. So I have a data source, right? Called menu. And right after I do that, remind me, don't let me forget. We could do that. Let's talk about global data in JSON and things like that. Okay. So I am going to wrap in a loop, right? And I want to choose menu as my data source. And I'm already seeing 2 of them, which is really good, okay? So I can do item dot, what is it? Title, name. I don't even remember there we go, okay? So remember, this is a static website, right? But I can use loops. I can use content types. I can use dynamic data. I've got my croissant. I've got my chocolate donut. I don't think, let's see, I'm gonna do a description. We're just gonna pop in a description here. This is not semantically accurate HTML and all this other stuff, okay? So if I go here, yeah, we have a little preview of what we have, right? So I believe it's fields, items.fields. .item description. Let's see if that works. Fields.item description. Okay. So I have a croissant and I'm just going to, let's go bold. Let's bold that. Okay. Oh, this font. I don't know what font we're using, but it may not support bolding. I don't fucking know. But I have a title and I have a description. Okay. So I'm able to get the custom field data. I'm able to get the content type data. All good. I'm building a menu, yada, 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 yada. All right. Let's save. Let's deploy this to Cloudflare. And we'll go hopefully see some stuff on the front end. I don't know what we'll see, but you know, it is what it is. I think something like Yama. Don't know. Don't know what we were discussing. Both. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Which is more economical to use, Etch AI or the Etch connector, and why? We should talk about that. Oh, I bolded the whole thing. Okay. So we see that on the front end. And remember, this is just live. It's hosted for free. It just exists, and it's great. And you can hook up a domain to it in Cloudflare, and you're like off to the races. Okay, so let's go back. Let's close this tab, and this tab. Let's just go back to the builder. Let's go back here. I wanted to show you global data. And then I will quickly I want to do a third-party API, I think. I think we'll do a little third-party API experiment, okay? So I'm going to do new data source. We can do a type of JSON, and you could do like store hours. And I want to show you something that is new, that is not in the WordPress version yet. If you go to visual, there is a visual JSON builder and editor now, okay? So remember, it was just a code input, and you had to kind of put some code in, right? You can now add an item, and you can add fields, okay? So I can say like day, and I can say Monday, and I can say times, hour, or I'll say like hours, day, hours, and I'll say like 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., okay? And then I can duplicate that item, and I can say that this is going to be Tuesday, and on Tuesday we close at 3 p.m., and I can duplicate that, and I can say on Wednesday, and whatever. This is like an options page, essentially, okay? And so you can, I'm not going to do the whole entire thing, but I save that, and I now have this store hours data source that I can use, and I can go loop through my store hours, and I can build my store hours dynamically, okay? So that shows you JSON, and it shows you a little bit of a new, again, there's a lot of polish that we want to do here. We're just focusing on functionality right here, but this shows you JSON data source. We've done a JavaScript data source with menu, and now I'll do an API data source. So I'm going to actually do team, okay? This is going to be interesting, right? So we're going to go API with this and create, all right? And so you can do a get, and you can have query parameters and headers and all this other such things. I'm going to go to Grok. Okay. And okay. Yeah. Thanks, Grok. I don't look, dismiss, quit. Like I do the pop-ups, and this is outrageous. The pop-ups in this world. So I'm going to go to digitalgravy.co. All right. I am going to tell Grok, I'm going to say, hey, Grok, I want to get the team custom post type data from the REST API. What is the URL I need to get? Okay, let's just see if it answers me here. I don't know it off the top of my head. I don't do enough stuff with the WordPress REST API to. Let's see if it gives me the right URL. Okay, it says this. Okay, so let's just grab this. It says useful variations. Okay, for a specific person with more results, embed media. Ooh, yeah. Yes, I want to embed media. Okay, let's see if it gives me the updated URL. Oh, well, hold on. I didn't want the per page thing. I think all I need is this section right here. Let's copy this. Copy. Okay, let's go over here. Let's load this in. Holy smokes. What is this? What do we have here? Oh, there's Jeremy Frank. Oh, there's 10 items. Oh, well, look at that. So I have a data source of team. I'm going to go ahead and hit save here. Okay. And then we'll go back to where we were working, and I'm going to insert a new section, and I'm going to say, this is meet our team. Okay. Now, to understand what you're seeing here, this data that I'm about to put on the page is coming from a different website. It's coming from completely external, right? It's coming from a WordPress website. So I'm going to go ahead and hit container here, and this is going to be my team grid. Okay, team grid, and I'm going to go ahead and throw in a div. This is going to be a team member, okay? And I'm going to throw in an image, and I'm going to throw in a content wrapper. All right, let's go content, and then I'm just going to throw in like a heading and text, and then this will be an H3. This will be their name, and then I think they have a title that comes along with them. So there'll be a title. So that, that's pretty good there. I'll go ahead and generate BEM classes. I'll call this team grid, okay? And let's go ahead and loop our team members. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm not doing everything semantically. We're not going to do the list structure. We're not going to just chill out, chill out, okay? Let's go ahead and loop through these. I'm going to say that my data source is team, meet our team. Ooh, I got a lot of posts there. Okay, we're off to a good start. Let's go to the team grid and hit display as grid. Let's do a media query. And let's say that above 1,000, okay, we're going to do grid template columns. Repeat 3, min max 0, 1 FR. Ooh, I see I haven't been on vacation that long. Let's do a gap of content gap down here. Gap of, ooh, I can't do content gap. We'll do 1M. 2M? 2M? Okay, 2M looks good. In our team member card, we will display flex column, and we'll do a content gap of and 1 rim. Okay, yeah, that's no ACSS. Okay, let's go figure content. We're gonna have to do it in here as well. Gap of 1M. Okay, and save. Let's refresh real quick. Let's see if we're having a little hiccup with our. There we go. Okay, that's better. This needs to be 0.5. Okay, much better. All right, so let's go ahead and see. We should be able to see our keys, right? So if we go in here, let's see. You get your ID. This is all the data the REST API is returning. Okay. Now, I don't know how it does this rendered stuff, because it's saying that that's an object. Maybe just title will work. Maybe just title will work. I mean, let's start there. Let's just start there. So let's just say item.title. Okay. Oh, and it does rendered Jeremy Frank. Item.rendered.title. Is that what we need? I don't know. See, I don't know how to work with the REST API data that comes back. I am going to ask Grok because I don't think you should have to. Let's go to Grok. It's putting key data like title in rendered. Is there a way to prevent that? Let's see if it can. I think there's a way to manipulate it to where you don't need, not with a simple context view, title rendered. Gives you both title.raw, context equals edit. Oh, method equals context equals edit. Title.raw.rendered. Oh, that requires OAuth. Okay, make it clean on the public endpoint. No, I don't want to do that. No, I've done this before where I didn't need the rendered nonsense. 612, team ID. I feel like there was embed equals 1. Pull the featured image data. Okay, we talked about that. Context equals. Okay, context equals view. Give me the URL with context equals view. I think it's just a. Oh. No. Okay. You just stick in context equals view on the end, but that says it's the default. Okay, I don't know. Let's go to here. Fucking WordPress, dude. Like, why can't they just return clean data? Does anybody know? Let's copy the path. Oh, you can do this now. You can't do that in the WordPress version. That's a new feature as well for this. Let's just copy that path. Maybe copying the path is what I need. Let's go see what happens here. And I wonder if it puts. Yeah, that's okay. That's what I thought. Item.title.rendered. Oh, did I do it backwards? Dude, I'm fucking dyslexic, dude. Okay. I can't with this stuff. Instead of, did I do item.rendered.title? Is that what I did? Okay. Amazing. All right. What's the next key that we need? So we need their actual like title, which comes from a custom field somewhere. So it's going to be in here. True title. There it is right there. So acf.title. So this should be acf.title. Okay. And I want to go acf.title. Okay. Lead designer. Now, what happens if I click that path, copy to clipboard? So acf title, just copy path. Just copy the path, right? And I think all I need to do, it's going to copy that. So I just need to put the item dot and then paste. Boom. Okay. And then let's go find out what the path is for our little featured media. We need a URL, right? Ooh, is it right here? Featured media href. Copy that. Let's just try copying that path. And let's just put that in for our media. Okay. Ooh, that's an interesting path. Item.links, WP featured media. I don't think we need the 0. Okay, let's read that manually. Let's see what's going on here. It's in link. It puts us in a thing called links. No, I don't. There's got to be. Is there another URL path? There's collect WP featured media, which is an array, and then you need the first one in the array, or it could be attachment. Why does it return it so many different ways? Why does it return it so many different ways? Let's try this one. Oh, God, there's more. There's more versions of it. Dude, the REST API is wild. You have media details. You have the sizes. I mean, that makes sense, but what if we just use this source URL? Let's do medium. The medium. Copy path to the medium. See if that works. All right. Item dot. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with that. It's something I'm doing from I'm not calling the item correctly from the REST API. But let's go ahead and push it anyway. Well, yeah, I'm not used to anybody that's worked with and this is the thing with third-party APIs. You have to figure out how the API returns the data to you and then how you're going to reference it. Okay. Okay, loop initialization failed. Maybe I'm going to take out the image just to be safe. Okay, saved. And remember, this is we're in alpha land. Okay, we're in alpha land. We see it working in the builder. It's a matter of getting it to the front end now. What have we done already? Yeah, you could have AI do it for sure. I'm not having AI do it. No, you cannot. Oh, yeah, you're right. Actually, you're right. That's a great point. How about we don't put it in the media ID field? Need it as a static image. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate you. All right. Let's give it a little refresh here. I don't know why it's not getting it did get Jeremy. Got Jeremy in there. Okay. I don't know that that's the medium. I bet we have low res images. They're very small on the main site, so that's probably all it was. Do you add the featured image source? Yeah. Correct. Okay. And there we go. So we have now. Remember, so this is a static site. All right, it's a static site. But we are looping through data from an external API. Let me go to inspect. Let me see what it says about this team member right here. Figure, image, source, alt. Okay, so it's just missing the source for whatever reason. This one obviously has the source, and it's good to go. And it is pulling the medium, so 300. And then you could obviously go in and you could throw aspect ratios on this stuff. Aspect ratio 16:9, object fit cover. I would actually do like 1 here, make it a little square. You could also go, instead of 3, we could do 4. Okay. And now suddenly we are in a different place with our grid. Let's let it deploy. I'll go back and refresh in a minute. Is there anything I did a JSON loop data source. I did an external API data source. I did a content type data source. I think that shows all of those. Media and asset manager categories can also be data sources. We looked at style manager. We looked at content hub. We looked at custom fields. Okay, so I think let's pause here. Okay, these were just visualizations. I think that's still pushing to Cloudflare, which is why Cloudflare has an extra 15 to 20, 30 seconds sometimes to actually deploy what you pushed. So you just chill out for a minute. So back to the initial question. And let's go back to Claude Design here, okay? Imagine, and I'm gonna build this coffee shop website, and I'm gonna deploy it, and then I'm gonna send out the link for everybody to take a look at. All these things will be loops. It'll have some conditional logic. It'll have everything like you would expect it to have, and it'll be a finished website. I'm gonna build it. I'm actually gonna agentically build it. I'm gonna have AI do most of the work. So we're back to the original question. So you're thinking about the majority of the sites that you build, and you're thinking about, okay, he's giving me content types, check. He's giving me custom fields, check. I can loop through things. There's data sources. I could even loop through data from an external API if I needed to. I can also loop through JSON. He's also giving me a JSON builder, so I can visually just do JSON and not have to worry about writing it or copying and pasting it in. But I could copy and paste it in if I wanted to. I can work agentically through the Etch connector. So, that means I can use any model that I want to. I can use any harness that I want to. I can also work natively in AI if I prefer that. And I know Dahunzi asked about native AI versus the connector. We can get there in just a minute. There's going to be templating. There's going to be taxonomies, and there's going to be relationships. Media is in there. I have bulk media upload. I have bulk media compression. I'm going to have basic SEO. So title tag, meta description, generate I don't know why the thing is escaping my brain right now. The page tree, the site tree. You know what I'm talking. Sitemap. Couldn't find the name in my brain. I won't be able to generate a sitemap, submit that to Google Search Console. Will I be able to do schema at some point? Yes. Okay, but that would be a little further off. But all the basic SEO stuff will be taken care of. Like even right now, I think you can go in and there's this metadata. So you can do meta description, site language, do your favicon, your social share image. Okay. Like simple stuff like that. I can then deploy it to Cloudflare. I can host it for free. I can deploy it to my Cloudflare. Let's reiterate this again. I can deploy it to my agency Cloudflare, or I could deploy it to the client's Cloudflare. What do we need WordPress for at that point? I can do facets. I can do filters. I can do search. I can do all these things, right? So the purpose of this is we're very close to that reality where we're pretty sure you just don't need WordPress for a lot of stuff. We didn't have to rebuild WordPress. You have to do a whole new open source CMS system. Right? You don't have to do all that, right? You don't have to do all that. It's just lightweight CMS. Just give people the core aspects of what they actually need to build the sites that they're building day in and day out. And then, of course, you have a centralized hub. Like all of your project, your whole entire portfolio would be right here. It's not like, let me log into this client's WordPress site. Let me log into this client's WordPress site. It's let me log into Etch Studio and bang, I click one project and I'm now in that project, right? And then I can go back and I can be in a completely different client's project. And I know you're probably already thinking can I make folders of projects? And yeah, you'll be able to organize all of your projects and folders and all of that stuff. And all of these sites are being hosted for free, which is crazy. There's no hosting to worry about. The sites load lightning fucking fast because they are legitimately static. Like they are actually, the deployed version is static. So they're lightning fast. Performance out the window. Is that the right phrase? Is that the right phrase for that? Performance. I don't know. My brain stopped working 30 minutes ago. You would need it for a circle-like community via SureDash. I don't know. I don't use WordPress for that stuff anyway. I literally use Circle. I think WordPress is everybody tries to, make WordPress work for all these crazy use cases. And it's not really just built for any of that. But yeah. Let's see. Let's go through chat. Let's do Q&A. I'm sorry, guys. It's been a while. I totally forgot. We probably need to get to some Q&A. I haven't even looked at the hashtag Q situation. Digital algorithm says we can shred WordPress into pieces. Yeah, I mean, multi-language support would definitely be a thing. It would definitely be possible for sure. Okay, let's get to some questions. Let's get to some questions real quick. I'm just catching up on chat real quick. I'm just catching up on chat. Let me go back in here. We should probably remove that media ID field. That's what I'm thinking, right? A couple of people mentioned the media ID field. I don't know that we need the media ID field. Okay. All right, let's go to hashtag Q. I'm ready to look at questions. Let's start at the bottom. Based on what I see, I wouldn't need WordPress in most cases. But what if the client used his own server, which isn't Cloudflare? That would still be a WP use case. Sometimes clients don't want other hosting. It's not really hosting. First of all, their domain should probably be routed through Cloudflare anyway. So they probably already have a Cloudflare for that purpose. Or if they don't, you should probably recommend that to them and set that up for them. And then the minute you set that up for them, now you have your Etch Studio publishing point. So, yeah. Will there ever be a self-hosted version of Etch Studio? Oh, it's possible. It's possible. Don't know yet though. How do we put stuff like GTM in head tag of page? So there's going to be a little head component. And if you insert that on the page, you can put anything you want in there and it will show up in the head. We talked about that just the other day. Does the client still have their security blanket access? I might have missed that. So this is really a cool part of this, right? So if you push this to the client's Cloudflare, you've literally pushed every file that generates the website to they own every single file. They have access to every single file, right? You have access to the publishing point, right? Like Etch Studio is where things get edited and published. But every time you hit publish, every time I click this button, it is sending those files to the client, to their ownership, their account. Their account owns the files, right? Owns the website, which is they own their domain and they own the files. They have 100% ownership of that website. It is not owned by you. It is not owned by you, right? So that's really, really, really nice. Now, you could, like I said, so if I go the front end here, there's going to be a client editing mode, which I already teased and actually demoed a prototype of. There is a working prototype where they can literally go in and click on anything that they want, whether it's a photo, whether it's content, whatever, and change the content, okay? Insert a new image, whatever. Now, when it's working dynamically, there's going to be a different method of doing that, obviously, because none of this is static content. It's generated by a loop from the database. So there would be an entry point for them to be able to edit that content or add new items or whatever. All of that will be there for sure. So don't worry about that side of things. That's coming as well. Will it be the fantastic Gutenberg that you guys know and love? No. It won't be Gutenberg because nobody actually wants that. It'll just be a nice, simple, like nothing. They can't fuck it up. They can't break it. It's just easy. It just lets them edit. It just lets them edit content. Okay. That's kind of the idea for it. Okay. Let's see. For GDPR reasons, this is not good in Europe. I don't know what cloud. I'm pretty sure everybody in Europe still uses Cloudflare. Correct me if I'm wrong. People can chime in if they want to. How is this any different than Web Studio? I don't know what Web Studio is, but I mean, I think it would be quite obvious. What's the same about it? I guess I'll just flip that question back on you. What's the same about it? Nothing is similar to Etch's development environment except the things that have copied Etch's development environment. What about cookie consent and conversion tools like Conversion Bridge? Yeah, you just pop those in with JavaScript. It's done deal. Easy. If site I built is in Etch Studio and hosted in Cloudflare, suppose that later for some reason the site needs to be migrated to WP. Okay, so that's a very interesting question. Yeah, our goal is that, so think about it this way. You don't want to start on a massive dinosaur infrastructure like WordPress and then go static from there. That is a convoluted backwards workflow. What you do is you start with the minimum viable architecture. So let's say you have a site that you're going to build and you're like, I'm pretty sure that I could just build this on Studio. Like, this does not need WP. So you do exactly that. You build it on Studio. But because Etch is still Etch, right? And because everything that exists in Etch Studio also exists in WordPress. They're just kind of called different things. Like instead of content types, it's custom post types. That's still kind of a one-to-one mapping, right? If you haven't done anything crazy, like relationships might be a little bit difficult to migrate perhaps because, again, WordPress doesn't handle relationships natively. But let's just say you've done basic content types, media, loops, logic, that kind of stuff. Our goal is to build a conversion where you could literally, and I'm even thinking of it this way. Actually, let's think ahead just a little bit, okay? We haven't talked in depth about this or anything like that, but I would actually like where you log into Etch Studio and actually see your WordPress Etch projects as well. And this would actually just be the central hub. So you just, for anything you ever need to do, whether it's WordPress or non-WordPress, you just log in right here. You see WordPress sites, and you can click and go straight into them. Or you see Etch Studio sites, you can go straight into those. And then you would even be able to click an Etch Studio site and say, convert to WordPress. And it would handle that for you. And it would literally convert a Studio site if that was ever needed to be done. And then, of course, it would be nice if you could vice versa that. So there's old sites you built on WordPress and you're like, dude, my client does not need the dinosaur architecture of WordPress for this thing anymore. I want it to be on Studio and I want it to host for free and I want to quit worrying about maintenance and security and all that stuff. And you would hopefully be able to say, convert that to an Etch Studio site. And it would just convert it over to Etch Studio and bing, bam, boom, you're now on Cloudflare and you're done with that site. So I want it to go both ways, and I want this dashboard to kind of be like your central portfolio of projects, right? Whether they be on WordPress or Etch Studio. Let's see. Wasn't at the stream, so kind of guessing about the platform product, but could you connect Postgres database for the data fastly? There's already a database behind this. That's the thing. You don't have to worry about it. It's done. It's done deal. It already supports faceting. It already supports filters. It already supports search. It already supports all of that stuff. Let's see. Can you create a dev staging production workflow with Cloudflare? I'll talk to the team about that. I don't know. I don't know enough to answer that specific question accurately, so I don't want to attempt to. Let's see. Like Cloudflare for hosting, but just don't want to be locked into just them. Yeah, I mean, Cloudflare is an endpoint. Okay, so we chose Cloudflare as an endpoint. There's nothing stopping us from adding a second endpoint or a third endpoint or a fourth endpoint. Cloudflare was the natural, obvious first endpoint because most people are going to be absolutely just fine with that and actually prefer that because any real agency, honestly, like it's been paying attention for the last few years, already manages all the DNS for their clients on Cloudflare. I mean, I literally don't know anybody that doesn't manage all the DNS on Cloudflare, and I don't know why you wouldn't. So if you're already managing all DNS, you're already set up for like this exact flow. Let's see. If you have a site and CPTs, it's absolutely necessary to have pagination of the post. I'd also like, yeah, pagination is going to be supported. Like it's all handled. Yeah, it's all handled. It's doable. It's doable. The architecture supports it. If the source API data changes, updates regularly, would we be able to auto deploy loops regularly so static deployed sites stay up to? Yeah, we discussed that. There's a few different options for implementing that. We're going to be looking at it very soon. But yeah, that's the idea, is that if you're getting something from a third-party API to a static website, we need some sort of trigger for refreshing the files, right? For grabbing the new data, refreshing the site. We want that to happen automatically. Now, suppose you change. Okay, yeah, that's the same question. That's kind of a duplicate question. Let's see. Question, could the haters stop bitching? They will never stop. They will never stop. That's why you just have to take a break sometimes. You have to take a summer off sometimes, you know? Because it's like the bottom of the dumpster. It's the sludge on the bottom of a dumpster. No, just outlive. Oh, okay. This goes back to the WordPress thing. Do you think WordPress has solid enough foundation so that its open source nature can outlive Automatic and MM? No. Objectively, patently, however you want to say, no. The open source nature of WordPress is the biggest fucking lie in the internet. Okay. Automatic. WordPress is a product owned and controlled by Automatic. And Automatic is owned and controlled by one person. WordPress is owned and controlled by one person. He sold the lie that, WordPress is everybody's. You all own and use Word, and you can all contribute. He has gotten gazillions of contributor dollars into WordPress for free, and those people don't own a fucking thing or control a fucking thing. That's just reality, okay? Yeah, and WordPress is too big for any one person to work on, right? It requires a shitload of money to go into it, a shitload of time and attention, and nobody's willing to put, we already ran the numbers, and a bunch of people ran the numbers. Like, you can't just fork WordPress and like off you go. Nobody would want to do that. It's so bad that if you wanted to just do something like that, you would just start from scratch. You would literally just start from scratch. So the value of the existing files is zero. Nobody would want to start from that starting point. They would just want to start fresh. And so what you end up with is the WordPress that is in operation is and will always be controlled by Matt Mullenweg. That's it. There's no value to its open source nature. I am fairly convinced these days that is an absolute lie. It's a nice fairy tale that was sold to everybody in exchange for free labor. That's about all it was. And all it ever will be. Okay. I think we're getting down to the wire here. I'm just checking on chat real quick. I do have to get out of here. I got a bunch of stuff to do. If you are in the Etch community, though, that is the community that is going to hear about availability of Etch Studio first. To answer one person's question, is Etch for WordPress? Where does development for Etch for WordPress stand versus Etch Studio? So that's the good thing. I showed you a bunch of things. Let me go back in here real quick. So like the data manager, data sources, right? This whole architecture for how data is mapped. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention, you can get the data for any of these items even outside of loops. All of this data is globally available to you, right? If you wanted to get a menu item, for example, you can get that even without a loop using the new data syntax. Okay, it works kind of like this. I'm not going to do it because this is inside of a loop. But you do data and then the key, the path to the key, and you can literally just get that piece of data anywhere on the website with no loop. Okay, which is very, very, very powerful. And then of course that works in Logic. It works in, a number of different scenarios that is very, just very helpful to have that kind of thing. Can't do that in the Etch for WordPress version right now. So this whole new data sources architecture and the schema preview and all of that, we want to bring that to Etch for WordPress, right? This is kind of the development grounds for where we do things the way they should have been done, and then we find a way to port that over to WordPress and map it over to WordPress. That's kind of how this works, just like we did with the asset manager. So we did this whole brand new asset manager with collections, with the compression engine, and then we ported that over to WordPress. And so that's exactly how it's slated to work. Things will come to Etch Studio, and then they will be ported over to Etch WP. So the Etch WP has the same exact working experience. Because whether you build in WordPress or on Studio, we want you to have the exact same experience. The Etch AI works exactly the same. The development flow works exactly the same. Dynamic data works exactly the same. Loops and logic work exactly the same. So you can freely go from project type to project type and not feel like you're in a different flow. Like we don't want that to be the case. We want the workflow to be exactly the same, which is not the benefit with Astro, by the way, which is not the benefit with any other static site builder, by the way. You would have to leave your WordPress workflow and go into a completely different workflow to build static sites. And now you don't have to do that anymore. And not only can you use the same flow for building static sites, they're not even really static. They're just static at the end, right? They're dynamic in terms of how you're developing the site. Everything is dynamic. You have the same WordPress-like experience, but it just, when you publish it, it's free and it's static. It's like, how could you not love it? And how could you not want it, right? It's literally what we've wanted for the vast majority of our sites since the beginning. It's just too powerful. It's too powerful. And then think about a unified dashboard where your studio projects and your WordPress projects show up all at once, right? That would be phenomenal. Because that's one thing I hate about WordPress in general is like my client needs something. Oh, fuck, I got to go to their URL to log into their WordPress database and then get into Etch, and then I can finally do my work. Why don't I just pull up Studio where all my projects are, click on the thing, and I'm in it, you know? There's just a lot of no security nightmares, no hosting nightmares. No, it's just simple, lightning fast, free. Like, man, come on. What are we talking about? Yeah, because and again, like as much as I talked bad about WordPress, obviously, there are still going to be sites where it's like, yeah, it really needs to be on WordPress until maybe one of our endpoints instead of Cloudflare is Statamic or, another CMS that people might want to use instead of WordPress. That's maybe WordPress-like or does the things they needed to do or whatever. Let's all keep that in mind. There could be more endpoints in the future where we can just, okay, I want to push this one to Cloudflare. I want to push this one to Statamic. I want to push this one over here. But you're still managing them all with, it's the same builder. It's the same interface. It's the same flow. It's just a different endpoint, a different destination. Let's see. And you could, by the way, let me go to settings, deployment, download, preparing your files. If you wanted to just go, hey, I just want to take these files and go host them somewhere, you just got a zip file right there. There's your zip file. Have at it, bud. There's all your files. Take them. They are yours. It is your site after all, right? So you can do that too. You can do that too. Shopify. Great question. That's a very interesting thing, right? Could Shopify be a destination? Could it be an endpoint? I don't think there's anything stopping us. It's just a matter of, demand. And then when we get the time to put the attention into it and do a little prototype action. But like theoretically, Shopify is a CMS. Theoretically, that could be a destination. Let's see. The self-hosted aspect of WordPress is what sets it apart. You have the freedom of hosting it yourself or using a host, hosting it in Germany, the USA, or all over the world. Well, I mean, like I said, you can do that here. You can do that here. This is self-hosted. Right now the destination is cloud. Here's the thing first that you have to answer. Like, what is the argument against Cloudflare, right? What is the argument against Cloudflare? But I'll reiterate, that's one destination of what could be many destinations. Will Studio be included in the Etch LTDs? No, because that is Etch for WordPress. That's a WordPress plugin, and it doesn't cost us anything to deploy WordPress plugins. Like we make the plugin once and you deploy it, and it can deploy an infinite amount of times without any direct cost to us. This system has direct cost to us. We operate and maintain and manage the database and all of that. So it's media, like the media storage, I believe, is R2, if I'm not mistaken. It's Cloudflare R2. And I believe it pushes the media to the users, whoever's Cloudflare account is connected to. I believe it stores the media there. I have to double check on that. But that's even another great aspect of this, right? Having R2 for media storage is really fantastic. We're not 100% on the pricing for Etch Studio yet. It's going to be insanely cost effective. Like, we're talking about, you are running an entire portfolio of agency projects from here for like, a very, very low amount, So, which, by the way, you're getting Etch, the whole builder plus the deployment aspect of it, right? And then we're also I'm considering right now that ACSS could just be bundled with it. Like, you get the entire flow. Now, you could, I guess, turn off ACSS if you wanted to, but just putting ACSS in there as it's just part of the workflow, right? You have the Etch connector is in there, which also doesn't cost anything. You don't have to subscribe to get Etch connector. So you have an agentic workflow for no add-on. Like, there would be no add-on fee for that. That's why we built the Etch connector, by the way. We wanted a free endpoint essentially for an agentic workflow where you can bring your own model, bring your own key, all that stuff. That's essentially what it is. So this is like, there isn't going to be anything else more cost effective than this. I'll just tell you that. I'll tell you that right now. So, yeah, all my domains are in Cloudflare, like as they should be. I don't know why people would be using anything else. No, because you still have Etch for WordPress. You still have ACSS for WordPress. Those are both WordPress plugins. So if you're going to continue doing some WordPress projects, that's that, that's that. But this all evolves. Like we have to rebuild stuff. Rebuilding stuff and re-architecting and that can't be free. And then taking on direct costs, that can't be free. I mean, we could just go out of business and then you have nothing. So there's no way around it. This is economics. Like, math is math, numbers, number, and it just is what it is. Yeah, WP is dying for sure. 100%. It is. Yeah. But I also said that, the idea is that this replaces, 8 out of 10 sites that you build, 9 out of 10 sites you build. And then you can decide for the 20% or 10% that is not a good fit for Studio, but maybe it would be good. Instead of WordPress, you use Statamic or something, whatever. Maybe that's an endpoint in Studio, and now you're using Studio for those anyway. And you're just pushing to a different CMS. A lot of options here. There's a lot of flexibility here. With the agentic workflow, can you create multiple pages on a site, or does it have to be one page at a time? You should be able to create multiple pages at a time. You should literally be able to, because it's going to have access to the content hub, and content types, page is a content type. It has no problem going and just listing it, just creating on the fly 40 pages. And then you could have, it creates all your team members. It creates the whole menu. It creates all your locations. All your custom fields can be generated. Yeah, it could do all that in bulk. All of that could be done in bulk, agentically, for sure. So instead of like going page by, hey, make me a coffee shop page, right? It would be able to put all that stuff in. Now, it would need to open each page by page to build the page. And I don't know that I would even ask it to do that at that point, because you do need to stop and think about like, okay, which ones am I going to template and which ones am I going to, create without a template, that kind of thing. The more you ask AI to do in one go, the more likely it is to fuck something up, right? So I would say, hey, create all my content types. These are my content types. Go ahead and create them. And I would almost do it by spreadsheet, so that each column of the spreadsheet of data could be a custom field. So I just tell the AI, hey, here's my data, make each column a custom field, and then I just feed it content type by content type, and it just puts all that data in the system. Now, once all the data is in the system, I then go, okay, I need this template, this template, this template, and this template. Go ahead and create those for me. Here are the designs for them, and it will go off and do those, and then I'll verify that it did all those correctly. And then anything that needs to be done, like as a static page, essentially, with no template, I will feed it those files or screenshots or whatever it may be, and have it go build those. And then, yeah, it's like you're doing it in pieces, but it's still doing things in bulk as well. Let's see. I think Etch Studio itself should become a CMS system, a self-hosted version. Yeah, I mean, it's sure. I mean, if we had a magic wand and magic fairy dust, I mean, that would be a thing that we could whip up. We're going this route because this is the route that's controlled. I mean, just think about the nightmare of all these people trying to self-host this on different environments and different this and different that, and trying to do this with it and that with it. And we have no control over, and now we're going to have to push updates. And like, the thing about Etch Studio is there's no plugin update. Like it's just, you just open it and it's like, oh, a few bugs I ran into are not there anymore. They were just fixed. And oh, look at this new feature that just deployed. It's there. It's there. It's that's nice. You don't have to go to 50 sites and update the plugin. Like it's always up to date. It's always up to date. It's always taken care of. That's a really nice aspect of it. Really nice aspect of it. Yeah, I mean, this was, and I got to go after this. We're getting late here. This was the conclusion I came to with Chromarius. It's exactly the conclusion I came to. I love the idea of working with agents, but also having the visual builder attached to what's going on. That is the game changer right there. That is the game changer. I told you guys I did a ton of vibe coding experiments in Astro, in SvelteKit, in like a bunch of different experiments. And the constant that I kept finding myself was, this is fine. This is fine. I can keep prompting, but I really wish I could just click on things and edit them. That was the conclusion over and over and over and over again. And there were some CSS problems that I would run into where I'm like, do I really have to try to explain this to this agent, how to fix this? Because it's having trouble doing it. I could just fix it myself in like 15 seconds if I could click on it and do it. And I do not want to go find the CSS files that it's working in. And then depending on the architecture that it's using, because if you're using Svelte, the CSS is self-contained in every single component file. So you got to go find the component file, then go find the CSS inside that component file. Fuck this. Like, just let me click on it and edit. Like, having the Etch builder there, even though you're working agentically, having the Etch builder there is the game changer. That is an absolute game changer. Like, I can still click on anything. And then I don't need to know what logic it tried to use. It's using Etch's logic system. I don't need to know what looping technique it's trying to use. It's using Etch's loops. It's using Etch's data sources. It's like, I can go edit my content. I can go manage my content right there. And like, you can use the agents for what they're good for, but not be confined to using the agents. Like, that is the experience that I think most people want. Yeah. So if you were dabbling with Astro, this is, you don't need Astro. Okay. Astro is just like a way to manage content without a CMS, essentially, right? And get the front end to render. They've got all their special dynamic islands and all this other stuff. Okay. This gives you something you're super familiar with, a CMS-like experience, a visual CMS-like experience, just without all the baggage and downsides of WordPress and security issues and expensive hosting and all this other stuff going on, right? This is like the best of all worlds. And the agenticness and the visual build, like it's just everything combined into one. We can just do our work without the drama and, have fun. 240. Now we were up to 320 or something was our peak. So that was good. It was nice. It was nice. There's still work to do, guys. There's still work to do. You should be active in the Etch WP community. It's really just the Etch community. They will be the first to learn about Studio, to get access to Studio, to get an offer for Studio. That's where most of the community. I will continue. You'll see more videos about it. You'll see more live streams about it, but they're going to hear about stuff first. That's kind of the bottom line. Okay. Yeah, and no more magic areas. Isn't that awesome? No more magic areas. Okay, hit like. I'll see you guys very soon. It's good to be back. I think I'm feeling re-energized. Okay. I just got to keep the nasty peoples at bay. They wear you down after a while. The nasty people, the low IQ. I can't. I gotta do a lot of blocking. Okay, I gotta do a lot of blocking on the socials. I just don't have time for these people anymore. Don't have time for them. All right, peace, guys. Love you.